Welcome to Guitar Expert Secrets, where we help you navigate the noise and share only the essential tools and techniques needed for everyday players. One of the most useful frameworks I think I've ever come up with that I keep going back to almost on a daily, certainly weekly basis, is how to prep a song in minimum time with maximum impact. So for example, I might get a call, and it might happen to you. You've got a gig, maybe it's next week, maybe it's tomorrow or tonight. And some of the songs on the list, you might know them, but there's always a few that you don't know. Even if you've heard the songs before, you probably never played the odd one or two. And you need a quick way, a really simple, repeatable way to work out how you're going to play those songs and get them ready for a gig. So I have a 5-step process which I use all the time, and I'll share it with you. So essentially, I'll walk you through each step, but essentially you're going to work out the chords first to the song. Then you're going to work out the arrangement of the song. In other words, what order it goes in, verse 2, chorus 2, etc. Then you're going to work out how you play each chord when you get there. And then you're going to work out your tone. And finally, the last thing is just listen to everyone else in the band around you. So let's look at step one. Step one is work out the chords. So at this point, you're not even worrying about how you're going to play the chords. You just want to know what the chords are. And there's 2 ways to do it. The long way, which is have a listen to the song and see if you can find perhaps the bass notes, which often give away where the chords might be. And then, maybe a time or two around hearing the song, you might have an idea of what the chords are. Or the other option, the quick option, just go to something on the internet, usually Ultimate Guitar, and get the chords. Once you've got the chords for each section, so for the intro, for the verse, for the chorus, the next thing you're going to do, before you even worry about how you're going to play them, is you need to work out the arrangement for the song. And this is probably the biggest, most valuable thing you can do. This is the order that the song goes in. So I would typically write a list on a page, almost like it's a shopping list, like top to bottom. I would write intro. Underneath that, I would put verse 1, maybe verse 2 if it's a double verse. Then chorus 1. Then it might go back to the intro. But it's really good because to do this, you've got to listen to the song and you've got to really pay attention to how everything is playing out. Once you've got the running order, next to each section, I then remind myself what the chords are. So I write a quick little note, like a little block of the chord. So if I was playing, let's say, Fortunate Son by Credence, I would, in the verse, just next to the verse, I'd put G, F, C, G. And then next to that, I'd put how many times you do it. And in that particular song, in the verse, it's twice. And in the chorus, next to the chorus, I'd write G, D, C, G times 2 again. What this does is it makes you realize what you're listening to and at a very different level. You understand the structure of the song. And it also gives you just a simple 1 page that you can look at, and everything you need to know about the song is on that 1 page. Now, the next step, step 3, is you're going to listen to that song and work out roughly, and it is a loose science, what the guitar player is doing in each of those sections. And here's the other framework. I call it STOMP, S-T-O-M-P. There's only 5 things you can do as a rhythm player. 1, let's say you've got a chord. Here's my mighty G chord. So I can either strum it, I can either tag it or frame it, where you just let it ring out. The other thing you can do is a riff, which a fancy word for that can be ostinato. So you can have a riff that might be under the chord. Or whatever it might be. The next thing you could do is mute it. And the last thing you could do is pick it. So to recap, strum it, let it ring out, riff it, mute it, or pick it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else you can do as a rhythm player. You can, of course, do smaller chords. So you might strum a chord up here. But really at this stage, you're just looking at, we've got the chords, we've got the running order of the song. Now you're just trying to work out, well, what technique is he using out of the STOMP framework? Which technique is the guitar player using in each section? Or perhaps it changes a bit in each section. It might even be a combination. You might strum a bit, you might ring it out, mute it. But either way, what I'm suggesting here is you're just listening to the basic device that they're using. Now, in this, you could also decide if they're low chords or high chords. You know, are they big fat G down here or a skinny G? The next step is simply, what's the guitar tone? What pickup are you on? Have you got chorus, delay, distortion? And then the last step, this is listen. And you can only really do this when you're with the band. So once you've got everything prepped and you can play along to it, just by looking at your one page, you can then check with the band, listen in, just make sure you're fitting in the mix. And there's usually a few things you're listening for at that point. But let's just backtrack again and just double check. So first step, what are the chords in each section? Next step, what order do the sections go in? Next step, what rough rhythm device am I using in each section? And this is, as simple as it sounds, it's got me through the last 30, 40 years of playing at gigs. If I have more time, I'll prepare a little bit further and a bit deeper. But this general framework, and I've taught it to hundreds of students, it works every time. Now, when it comes to tone and listening, more specifically the listening, how you're fitting in, the device I use there, I'd call it polarity. In other words, you're looking to be opposite to everything else in the band. So for example, if the bass player is chugging out chords, you can often afford to let yours ring out. If the keyboard player is doing some high stabby notes, maybe the keyboard players go, you could afford to play lower. Essentially, polarity. Look for something and then avoid it by doing the opposite. I know that, again, it sounds really simple, but if you give it a shot, you'll see what I mean. And then this is much easier live because it's easier to kind of get a sense of what all the people are doing in the band. Really, it comes down to you're finding your own airspace. So you're an asset to the band. You're not just falling in with everything else. Of course, there's other bits you could worry about, like how am I going to do a solo? Where's my solo? But that's not what we're talking about today. We're simply talking about how can you prepare a song with the least effort possible. You'll get to a point, I promise, where you could hear a song maybe once, possibly twice if you need to, and you've got everything done. You know, you've got your chords done, you've got your running order, you've got your tones sorted out, then you're literally on to the next one. I think the last time I had to do this was for a gig. It was like a disco-y soul type gig, and I gave myself a couple of hours. I did about 40, maybe 30 something songs, just using this framework. What are the chords? What's the order? What do I do when I get there? What tone do I need? That's it. Simple as that. So I hope you find it helpful. It's certainly helped me over the years, and it's one of the silver bullets that I felt I would like to share. Thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed this podcast and want to keep in touch or want more info, then just visit guitarexpertsecrets.com.